So then we get into the close of escrow. So, this is the process of once we, are kind of getting closer to closing. You obviously, we mentioned earlier, you want to keep yourself mortgage worthy. So no, once again, until you actually get the keys, you don't want to be doing anything to buying new cars or furniture for your new house until you're actually closed. You need to budget for additional expenses. So closing costs are 2 to 3% of your loan amount. So that's lender fees, that could be credit reports, that could be notary fees. You want to make sure that you have your earnest money. This actually happens earlier in the process when you first open escrow. So in San Francisco, it's like 3% of the purchase price that you put in. Earnest money is your commitment to the seller that you're actually going to move forward with purchasing this transaction. If you disappeared and went off to Mexico and we never heard of you again, the seller may be entitled to keeping that money because they now need to they're like, I don't know whether the buyer went, and now they need to try and put the property back on the market. Obviously, if you do inspections, that costs money, surveys, etc. And then you also we talked about insurance earlier, you need to make sure that you have 1 year of homeowners insurance ready to go. A lot of times you have to pay for that. Your lender may require you to have 1 year of homeowners insurance paid up front, um, so that they can ensure that their property is protected. Because once again, keep in mind, when you're purchasing with a loan, the bank actually owns your home and you're paying until you pay off that 30-year mortgage or 15-year adjustable rate, whatever it is, until you 100% pay back the bank. The bank owns your property and they're on the title. And then once they finish that, it then becomes yours. So keep that in mind. And then we do a final walkthrough of the home. The final walkthrough is just to make sure that the home is in the shape that it was when you made your offer. Heaven forbid when the staging, the furniture was being moved out from the stagers and they hit the wall and put a big dent in the wall with the couch, you could be like, hey, that dent wasn't here when we made the offer on the home. Seller, you need to get that dent in the wall, patched up and repaired before we close escrow. So then when you close, you obviously want to bring an ID, your evidence of the insurance that we were just talking about, and then the money that you have. So, usually we're wiring funds, but it could be a cashier's check that you're bringing for your down payment. And then at the end of that, you get your settlement statement that outlines all the different things. You get a copy of the title and the keys to your new home. That's my favorite part of my job, is when I get to text a client and say, hey, congratulations. We are on record, which means that the property has been recorded with the county in which it is, be that San Francisco or wherever, that the seller no longer is on title. Now the new owner is on title. That's you, the buyer. That's the best part. And that's important to keep in mind, is that when that recording happens is important. So if you record at noon on one day, if there was like a fire at 9 o'clock in the morning, that property is still owned at 9 in the morning by the seller, right? So if there's a huge fire that starts and burns and hurts the property, you don't own it at that point. But if it happens afternoon, once it's been recorded, and that recording time varies by county, now it's your property. And if there's a fire now, then now you're going to have to be responsible for making those repairs and working with your insurance company. So that's kind of like when you hear on record, means that the deed has been moved over to your name now. So now you get the fun part. You get to move in and protect your investment. So you obviously want to maintain your property as well as you can, keeping those systems updated, getting your furnace checked, get your roof replaced every 20 25 years to ensure that your roof doesn't have leaks, because leaks can cause all sorts of issues inside. You want to keep an eye on everything. You want to keep a file of receipts. So when you do repairs and other things, you want to keep track of those so that you can then provide those to the next person who purchases your home somewhere down the road. One thing to consider is maybe getting a home warranty. A home warranty will help cover if, when you purchase a property and say a week later the refrigerator stops working, a home warranty will help have a repairman come out to get that fixed. So, and the other thing is, enjoy a lifetime of service. Like, I always aim to be people's realtor for life, not just for one transaction. So I want to be there to help you if you need a new painter in the future, or if it's a bad winter storm and all of a sudden you're like, oh my gosh, we need to get something fixed on the roof, call me and I'm happy to provide a referral to a roofer that might be able to help you get that fixed. My job is to help you at any time with anything that real estate related. That may be getting refinanced. We were talking earlier about how interest rates are higher than we would all like right now, but maybe in the future they go back down into the fives, and maybe you want to refinance your home and save some money. So I'm obviously always here to help you with that. So help you with a painter, tell you in 5 years what your home is worth, all sorts of things like that. If you have a question about real estate or have someone else, maybe a family member or someone else that wants help, I'm always there to help them. So I wanted to just see if anyone had any questions or ahas. I know we're at 7:06, so tried to get through that as quickly as I can. If anybody had questions, feel free to come off mute or put them in the chat.